Welcome to another Nitro Tech review. This is the Garmin Asus. It's the A10 version, a 3.2-inch Android device, which was originally brought out on Android 1.6, but upgraded to 2.1. Being a Garmin device, it's got the GPS functionality built into it. It means it's not going to use your data. It's all offline maps. And also that it's got a car cradle that comes with the kit as well, so you can throw this into your car, use it as your GPS. It was the kind of first device on telecom anyway that came out with that kind of functionality built in, and since then of course we've seen a number of devices like the LG P500 that has also got that functionality now built in. So just to take you around the device, you've obviously got the speaker up the top here, 3 capacitive buttons as opposed to 4 that we've seen on some devices. We'll talk about the skinning there. You'll see that that's quite a different sort of home screen to a number of devices. On the bottom there, you've obviously got the way of taking the back off. On this side, not quite sure exactly what that does on the side there, but up the top is your volume rocker. If you look on the back, you've got a 5 megapixel camera, no flash. You've also got a speaker there as well. You've got a micro USB, plus you've got the car kit cradle adapter plug there, and on the top you've got the power button and also the 3.5mm jack, so kind of standard, apart from that little docking area there, which you could understand the need for that when you've got a dock specifically designed for this device, which is going to go in the car, and that comes with the kit as well. It's not an optional extra. So just to take you through some of the skinning of the device, as I say, it's kind of a little bit different to what we've seen on most Android 2.1 devices. This really is quite a little bit different. When you take a look at this front screen, you'll see that the app drawer, rather than having something in the middle just to bring it up, you actually slide it up from the bottom, and you'll notice that all of the icons have been changed as well. They look a little bit different. I think they really do look a little bit Windows 3.1, to be fair. They aren't the greatest looking. However, that's could also be due to the fact that the resolution on the screen isn't fantastic. Resolution is 320 by 480. 320 by 480 pixels is your resolution on that screen. So obviously not fantastic. H is DPA, so it does that, 7.2, but in terms of up, it only does up to 384, so that's sort of UTMS rather than any HS UPA facility inside of this phone. Obviously being on 2.1, it's going to be a little bit of a pain to tether this device as well, as opposed to 2.2 and beyond, which have that Wi-Fi tethering built into the operating system. However, there are some extra added features of this phone as opposed to your stock standard Android device, and let's just find some of them now. So AA Ferry, that's just a shortcut that takes you to the browser and the AA's version of whether the ferries are running on time or not, and that is New Zealand based, so that is fantastic. In terms of the clock, basically everything in this is different to what you find on a normal Android phone. So you've got the cool functionality there where you can see which parts of the world are currently in darkness and which are currently in daytime. So again, it's kind of a little bit different, but we're not upset by all this skinning. It just didn't seem that it needed to happen. It hasn't ruined the phone, I don't think, but as I say, it's kind of slightly different to what you'd find on most other Android devices. So that is the weather widget there, and again, it's different to all the other weather widgets that we've seen, but works perfectly well. Not unhappy with it. Also, one of the things that you're going to find here with the device as well is that it does have a 5 megapixel camera with autofocus as well, and that seems to work reasonably well. If you want to record video on this, you can do it. You're going to find that it does 30 frames per second, but only at QVGA resolution, so certainly you're not going to get any HD video, even though it's got a 5 megapixel camera. Its processor is very, very slow. I not quite sure how slow it is exactly, but if your phone is lacking in lag, you've probably given it to this one, because it is very, very laggy. But going between these home screens, I don't know if you can see it there, but it is taking an awful long time to go between these home screens. Being a 3.2-inch device as well, if you're bringing up the on-screen keyboard, again, it just seems to take quite a wee while for this to actually do anything. So certainly not really all that impressed by its snappiness. In fact, it's definitely not a snappy device at all. Also, when you go into the offline maps, and Garmin do a pretty good job of their online maps, offline maps, and it seems to work okay. But compared to some of the things that we're now getting from some of these companies, this really does, again, look a little bit Windows 3.1. It doesn't look very flash at all. It does seem to do multi-touch. If we just do a little pinching to zoom there, you can see that it is actually zooming in, but again, it's pretty laggy. And one of the things that also found with the Garmin software is that this is a little thing that people do to try and be a bit smart. They're adding in extra things, service stations, and where to get food. Well, here in Rotorua, you can get food on practically every corner. So it just looks a little bit messy, really. And the street names aren't as clear, I don't think, as really what they should be. Again, it's partly resolution of the device, but also it's a fact that I think the software, is a little bit old school in the way that it's been designed. So you can get to that functionality, as I say, straight off the home screen. You can just hit that and go straight into the Garmin software, and then you're away. And obviously the beauty in that, rather than using the Google navigation, which is also available on this device, is that you're not going to be using any data in that either. As I say, the shortcuts are here. You can go straight to the telecom world here, and when we do that, it just takes you straight to the browser. And again, browser's been skinned as well, and we're not hugely happy with that, but some of these companies seem intent on skinning everything. And again, look at that bounce back, lag, going through the whole thing. There's no flash on this. It doesn't do flash. But lag. It's not hugely graphical sight. This is the mobile version. So again, as I say, not really impressed with the performance of this device. It really is built as a kind of GPS first, and Android operating system second. So as a GPS system, we think it works fine. In terms of the Android phone side of things, there really are better devices out there at the price point, which last time we saw was around the sort of $600 to $700 mark for this device, which includes the car cradle as well. But when you compare it to the likes of the P500, which has the same size screen, but is on Android 2.2, we do think that the P500 is certainly a better type of device. All in all, that's pretty much all I can show you, because, as I say, it's a stock standard kind of experience, although heavily skinned for the Garmin Asus software. The maps and navigation work just fine, and there'll be map updates, I guess, that'll be given for a set period after this device goes off the shelves, and then you're kind of on your own. But you do have the advantage of also being able to get into Google navigation if you need it as well. So that is it, the Garmin Asus a10. It's certainly an interesting device if you're after something with a cradle and something to do your sat nav in the car. Yes, you can do it with this device. However, there are other devices that are available, such as the P500, which are probably better suited and maybe a better long-term experience. The Garmin Asus A10.